It was an ordinary autumn day in the state of Florida, a day that was unremarkable, just like all the other gloomy days of the fading summer. Children went to school, and parents, especially mothers, had more personal time. Marusya left home right at noon and headed for the school bus stop. The girl's mother, Angelina, waved goodbye to Marusya as usual and wished her great studies. It should be noted that Marusya was one of the few who studied exceptionally well. She managed to be a class leader, an honor student, and an athlete. The girl was involved in sports and was training to become an unmatched figure skater. Marusya was in the 6th grade, and her mother had stopped escorting her to the school bus. They decided that 12 was the age when girls actively mature and feel embarrassed by their parents' excessive supervision in front of their classmates. At 1 o'clock, Angelina's phone rang. The screen displayed the number of the school teacher. "Angelina, good afternoon. What happened? Why isn't Marusya at school?" The bus attendant complained that the girl didn't show up. "Could she be sick? I'm worried because you always called me before to explain her absence." Angelina stood there, her face like that of a mummy. "No, Margarita Ivanovna. Marusya left for school today as usual, first to the school bus stop." A heavy silence hung in the air. Angelina didn't wait but instead of her previously planned visit to the beauty salon, drove to the police at full speed. "No 3 days," stated the investigator. "We already have 3 reports of missing children today. They are disappearing just like Marusya did. They all left for school but never arrived." Angelina stood there, nervously dialing her daughter's phone number. It rang, but there was no answer. After an hour, Marusya became unreachable. She probably ran out of battery, thought the mother. The police rushed to track the moment of the schoolgirl's disappearance, reviewing all available video footage along her route. The video showed Marusya walking halfway to her destination. But then she was supposed to go through a park, where there were no cameras. She never came out of that park. Angelina called Marusya's father. Marusya's parents divorced when she was 2 years old. Apparently, they just didn't get along. However, Igor, as the father was named, picked up his daughter every week to spend time together and showered her with love. The 2 parents had no disagreements regarding their daughter. Igor and Angelina spent almost 2 days at the police station. They felt it was essential for them to be there. They thought that if they left, everything would stop, and the search for the girl would cease. Under the pressure from the captain, the parents gave in and went home. But they weren't thinking about resting. Igor quickly set up an operational headquarters right in Angelina's living room. Volunteers and relatives of Marusya rapidly developed a search plan. Flyers were posted all over the city. Volunteer teams scoured the park and nearby forest areas, dividing the territory into zones, and began their search. 3 days passed, then 5, then a month. All active searches were halted. The police said that if the girl's body wasn't found within the first 3 days, there was no hope left. Some people gave up, while others continued to live in search of her. A year later, Igor embraced Angelina and told her that searching for their daughter was pointless. But she insisted that Marusya's right to live would end only when her mother ceased her pursuit. It was an ordinary autumn morning, unremarkable as always. That day, Angelina prayed and lit a candle for her daughter, insisting that the story was not over. Until Marusya's body was found, Angelina believed her daughter was still alive. The case was clarified only after 5 years. During one of the street brawls, the police arrested 5 individuals. Upon searching the home of one of them, they found a backpack with clear signs that it belonged to a girl. A pink backpack with badges was hidden under the kitchen area. They discovered this stash when a search dog suddenly began to bark. In the criminals' hidden cache were also other items sized for young girls. The police sent everything for examination. However, the girl's backpack. It was recognized by one of the officers who had previously been involved in the search for Marusya. The girl's backpack was prominently featured in the case file of the missing girl. They conducted the examination of the backpack first, discovering DNA traces of Marusya and, as it turned out, one of the men arrested in the brawl. Next, they checked other findings. On children's tights, jackets, or socks, they found numerous DNA traces of previously missing girls. The criminal, named Petter, did not confess to having any connection to the missing girl. He insisted that all the evidence was planted on him. As a result, under pressure from the evidence, he only confessed to one incident. He completely refused to admit to the others. The portrait of the criminal, who received a life sentence without the possibility of appeal or early release, was no different from most men of about 40. His mother passed away by the end of the trial, having previously abandoned her son. She had worked for over 40 years as a schoolteacher and could not believe that she was the mother of a beast who mercilessly preyed on children, leaving them no chance of survival. The criminal's mother had given birth to her son at quite an advanced age. It was her only chance to have children. Yes, it was hard. Working and taking care of a child was very challenging. The father of her son completely rejected him. Petter often stayed home alone, as his mother worked a lot. Of course, he had nothing to occupy himself with, and he sought friendship with a group of local teenage delinquents, whom he thought were very cool and would make him a real man. He would grow up and start helping his mother. But something in his life went terribly wrong. His first punishment for robbery came when he was only 17. There, he was taught to live like a girl. Suffering daily pain and humiliation, girls became nothing but hateful to him. He did not confess to 5 incidents, including the disappearance of Marusya. He thought that this way, he would avoid a life sentence. But he miscalculated. The investigation had enough evidence to prove all the crimes. Thus, he received a life sentence. Marusya's parents, especially her mother, carry their grief in their hearts throughout their lives. Angelina would most like her daughter, if she is not among the living, to be buried according to church traditions and have a place for her mother to come and weep. Well, friends, I think society partly creates such people itself. We often live by the principle of total indifference and do not want to take responsibility for anything. Who do you support in this story? Who is to blame for everything? Could this tragedy have been avoided? How? Write your opinions in the comments. Stay healthy and happy. Olivia sends you hugs.